Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Stogie411. Now, as you can tell, my location has changed. I am at the house today because I wanted to give my neck a little rest here and without carrying all the equipment around. So I decided I'll from here today and we'll do it through Google Hangout. But I am here with my usual partner in crime, Mr. Michael Williams. How are you today, Michael?
I'm good if everything sounds good, hopefully, because I'm running things today, and I'm just sitting here waiting for our site to pop up to let me know that it's okay over there. And other than that, I'm good. We're gonna do another You Ask It show, which will probably be our last You Ask It show for the year. It seems like we've been doing a lot of them, but they've been popular, and we've had some guest changes. So we had to fill in, and we didn't want to miss a show. So today we got about 10 more questions to go through. And then Mike and I have a little midway. We're going to stop and do a little rant about a certain blog site, but we're not going to mention their name. But we are going to talk about something that bothered both of us, and I'm sure a few other people. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and we'll see what happens. I'm still waiting for it to pop up on our site. It's not popped up yet. It's making me nervous.
Yeah, it might be some lag.
Might be a lot of lag. I'm smoking real quick though. I'm smoking the Ruination for the show today. What are you smoking, Mike?
I am smoking one of my favorite cigars, the Jaime Garcia limited edition, the Reserva Special in the Connecticut wrapper.
Nice. So, all right. Well, again, it's still not over there, so I don't know, but don't matter. It's being recorded. Unfortunately, there ain't nobody in the chat room anyways right now, so screw it. Well, let's get it off. Let's start it off. Joe starts off with a question, wants to know, when I cut my cigar, I always seem to cut too much. Is there an easy way to fix it? So I'll send it over to you, Skippy. Go ahead.
All right. Well, other than some Elmer's glue or super glue or something, no. In all honesty, I mean, the only way you can adjust for that is to don't cut so much off the first time. Just start smaller. Now, the other thing I will say, ouch, and I had one, and I probably left it downstairs. They have cutters that have a back on them. So you can put the cigar in and it stops at a certain point. It won't go in any further and then you can cut it. And that might be a way to help you get used to cutting the cigar at a certain depth for your own taste. But really, there's no way to really fix it once you cut it. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I agree with you. I was going to say the same thing. They make these cutters that has the backing on it. The only thing to do is really, really take your time when you're going to cut it and look, and you could see where that cap ends. It's like 1/8 of an inch, if that. I mean, you can see where it ends and just cut above that. But if you do cut it too far, I mean, just usually if you wet your finger and roll it over there, you can fix it. But pectin, if you're at home, if you have that, you can fix it. But just you just need a little snip. You don't need much. You got something you want to show there, Mikey?
Yeah, here I'll show if it'll focus in here. I don't know if it will or not. There, I don't know. You can see that cap right there at the bottom, and this one's see the 2 lines for a cap. The other one's way up here, but it's a triple cap, so you can see those lines going around, and you never want to go down below that last line. That's all I wanted to show.
Yeah, no, that was good. That came through pretty good. So
pretty spiffy.
It's pretty spiffy, if I say so myself. All right, go ahead, Skippy. Ask question number 2.
All right, question number 2 is from Pete. They ask, how can you fix a cigar that's either plugged or has lots of thick stems? Go ahead, Mike. I'll let you take it.
Throw it in the garbage. No. A plug cigar. Well, I have in the past. It depends. I mean, if it's really got a lot of thick stems in it, you can try when you cut the cap. You could try to get in there with a little pair of tweezers and try to pull that stem. But the problem I find is sometimes it's the binder's too tight, and trying to pull that stem out isn't going to happen. You can sometimes on certain cutters they have a little I don't know what the hell they call it there, but it looks like a little file on the end that you could stick through the cap and try to open it up, and maybe that'll work. But for the most part, I mean, if it's really a plug cigar and you're, you got a nice cut on it and it's not drawing well, there's really not much you can do, in my opinion. I would just, chalk it up to a bad one and, smoke another one and go from there. But that's a few suggestions. What do you think, bud?
Yeah, now, what Mike was talking about there, wow, that's hard to see, I guess, there. That's the Zycar scissors, with the little pointy thing. Now, the only problem is it's only that long, so to use it as what they consider a draw poker, it doesn't work very well unless it's plugged right at the very, very end, to try to open it up. They actually make draw pokers. They make them where they're almost like a little machine that you can lay a cigar in and run a metal rod down through the middle. I found, again, I've got it downstairs. It's probably laying with that cutter. Shish kebab rod. Like you use on your grill or whatever. They have like little serrations here and there, to help hold the meat and veggies and stuff in. And I'll take that and put it down through sometimes and pull out, and that seems to help. The biggest problem I had with it, and I don't know if Mike did or not, but when you do that, if it's really, really plugged and it's really tight in there, it will actually split the wrapper, and then you're just done.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I totally forgot about you using the shish kebab thing. I forgot about the draw poker too, because really, I mean, I hardly ever have a draw. I think in my 25 years of smoking, I probably had if I had a handful, it'd be a miracle. I've never really had that problem because I know most manufacturers, they do a draw test at the factory usually on, not every cigar, but on the good bundles. But yeah, so hopefully, Pete, that answers your questions, and there's some home remedies that Mike came up with that it could work. And just for Mike, we're not live on our site, but it'll be live later when we put the post up. But it's not live on the site. I got nothing working over there.
I don't know. You better check that link, because if that link's wrong, we'll never get it live. We'll never get it on the site.
Yeah, well.
But
no, the link's right. I think maybe I might have cut it wrong. Let's see. I'm going to go over there right now and check with that. You want to go on to the next question while I check it?
Well, how about you want me to just start the rant a while? I'll do my end of the rant, and you can do yours.
Oh, the rant?
Yeah. Or you want to wait? You want to wait? All right, we'll wait.
No, we can do that. Go ahead.
All right, well, I'll say my part. All right, now, it was brought to our attention, and, there was a site that wrote something up, and it was pretty bad towards bloggers, I think. It's one of those things, you put up good reviews, and all of a sudden you expect things. And, I don't care if you do 20-minute reviews or 60-second reviews. It doesn't matter. You're doing the review because you love cigars, you like to get your opinion out there, other people like your opinion. There's no need for you to think that you should get free stuff. I'm associated with one of, or the biggest site on the internet with cigars. And I'm not getting boxes and boxes of cigars in the mail. I'll get samples here and there, but most of the cigars I review, and just because I give a good review for a cigar or a whole manufacturer's line of cigars doesn't mean I should get anything out of it. It's my opinion. If they suck, I'm going to say they suck. And that's the problem I had with it. The other things I didn't really go into too much in the post and all that, but that gives a bad name to bloggers, And that's why bloggers are having so many problems with IPCPR, with manufacturers, with getting information and all of this, because there's some people out there who think they do it because they want to get free stuff. And I just got attacked by a bug. Damn. And I just don't think that's right. So Mike's done playing there. He can give you his point of view.
I'm not done because I'm trying to check something here because it's not even up on our YouTube page right now. So I'm not sure what's wrong.
Oh, we could really be screwed in.
I think we are because I click our YouTube page, it's not there either.
Says we're live.
Yeah, it says we're live, but nothing's.
You logged in as Stogie411?
Yeah, I did everything. I think our. I think there's something wrong with the link.
Yeah, I can't see the link over on this end. Only the person that starts it can see it.
I'm gonna try to mess with it one more time.
And the link that anything to automatically go to YouTube. I don't know if it's live on YouTube yet. It might only go there after the show's done. I don't know how that works. But anyway, while we're playing around with it, I mean, I've already spoken that much on it. So but that's where bloggers really have to stand up and say something. You just can't let this crap go on where everybody thinks they should get free stuff. And that's not what it's about.
Agree. All right, give me 1 second here. I just want to refresh again and check it out.
Mikey is refreshing.
Oh, there we go. Now it's working.
Look at that.
Now we're working. Now we're live. Now we're live on it. Yeah, Mike's an idiot. It still's doing something different. It never did. It has be part of the live chat hangout here. I don't know what that's coming up. You just click it. But anyways. All right. So I got that part done. Sorry for the aggravation, folks. But, Mike decided his neck hurts. I got to screw this up today myself. Otherwise, it probably would have been still screwed up anyways, right, Mikey?
Yep, because I screwed up enough by myself.
All right. So I want to get into the rant a little more in depth than Mike did. Okay, so there's this site. I don't know how long it's been out there. I'm not going to call the site out. The one thing I will say this before I go forward. I'm all for everybody giving their honest opinion. I am all for that. But there's a integrity, there's a right way of doing it and getting your point across without coming across as a immature, uninformed site. And the reason I'm saying that is this site, in my opinion, they basically put up a post about Nat Sherman and saying that they went to an event. It cost them several miles driving plus so many dollars in tolls, yada, yada, yada. They went to the event. They couldn't sit in the one smoke room because they weren't a member. There was no sign on the door saying that.
Oh, no. It was they went to the pop-up store and it was closed.
Right.
So then they went to the townhouse.
Right, the townhouse. So all these things being said, that gave them, they had a bad experience. But the rant on this blog site went on to say how they reviewed their cigars before and they enjoyed their cigars, and a lot of people have come up to them and said, oh, well, we smoked their cigars because we saw your review, and this site felt that Nat Sherman could have sent them cigars out of the fact that they got people who smoked their cigars because of their review. And that may very well be true. I've had that when I reviewed cigars. Mike, I know you've had that over at Stogie Review. People who follow you who may not have tried Nat Sherman or any other manufacturer may have tried it because of your review. And that's fine. That's awesome. That's great. But this is my problem I have with it. First of all, The last thing, and the very last thing you want to do, and take it from some guys who've been doing it for some time, the last thing you want to do is put a rant up telling the manufacturer that they don't send you free cigars and you're not going to review their cigars anymore. That's the last thing you should do. You come off, you sound like a child. You sound immature. You sound like you don't know what you're doing. That's the last thing you should do. There's ways of telling a manufacturer about an experience that you had that you may not have enjoyed, or that you felt slighted, or that you, however you felt, without putting it out there on the interweb for everybody to see. Not only did you make yourself look foolish, you made bloggers such as ourselves look foolish. The other thing everybody has to understand, and this is my opinion. First of all, a company like Nat Sherman has been around for a very long time, very long time, and they have been very successful. Well before us bloggers came along, they have been successful. So for us to assume that without us they're not going to be successful is ignorant. They are successful. They will always be successful. I think if you find that if you reach out to people at Nat Sherman, and again, I'm not pointing out anybody's name at Nat Sherman, I'm just saying Nat Sherman as a whole, I think you will see that these people who really care about what bloggers do and have respect for what we do, but when they see a site that is, in my opinion, relatively new, come off very unprofessional, but honest on how they felt, I get that, but very unprofessional, it tends to put a slight on, a little dag on all of us. So you really should say how you feel, but think about your words. For every action, there's going to be a reaction. When I read it, I right away was disgusted. And I don't visit this site. I'm not going to say how it came to my attention. I don't visit the site, nor will I probably visit the site. They have since taken it down. That post has been taken down, which I think was the right thing to do. I know when I had Mike Stogie's, I had reviewers that were helping me, and I at one time had to take down a review because it was negatively said unprofessionally about another manufacturer, and I wouldn't tolerate that. So I don't agree with it. But I'll just say this: just be professional, be honest, but there's a way to get your word across. You make it bad for all of us when you act like that. I can sit here and say that Nat Sherman and a lot of these other manufacturers have been wonderful to us. We've never ever asked anybody to send us samples. We don't do that. Do we get them? Absolutely, we get them. I think we get them because the people respect what we're doing. We are honest people. We still say how we feel, but we say it in a respectful way, and we get our point across, and I think that's what has to be done. And I hope that this site learns from their mistake, because it was a mistake. It may never happen again, but it was a mistake, and I think you should really, in my opinion, I would write an article apologizing if I was running that site, saying, I apologize for my words. This is what I said out of anger or out of how I felt, but I understand this. But just remember this: the manufacturers will always be around, and we may not. They don't truly need us. Remember that. They appreciate us, but they don't need us. Just remember that. That's my 2 cents about the whole ordeal, and I'm going to leave it one quick thing saying, I personally think it was an honest mistake. I think they should write a rebuttal about it, even though they took it down apologizing. I think that's the least you owe Nat Sherman, and as a whole, the whole company, people who have dedicated their lives to provide really good cigars for us. Yes, it's a business, but they have a passion. But my 2 cents is you should write a rebuttal and apologize, because that's really the manly thing to do, and it's the right thing to do. What you did was wrong, in my opinion. But that's it. That's all I'm going to say, and I'll toss it over to you if you got anything you want to throw in there.
I just want to throw, because you brought it up about how they went to the pop-up store was closed and all these tolls and everything else. It's the digital age, and I'm sorry, I hate this. I don't know what it is about, especially with the younger generation, on how it seems to be that they are unable to dial a phone. Honestly, just because somebody tells you something, you can't take it as gospel. Always you call them. Hey, is the store open? Boom. You would have saved yourself time and trouble right then and there. I don't get that. I mean, even stepdaughter, she will text and text until her fingers fall off. But oh my lord, if she has to pick up that phone to actually call somebody, it, it's like the world's going to end.
Yeah,
But
I agree
yeah, I
with
mean,
you.
the rebuttal would be nice. I agree. You know, but it does. It really puts a bad light in the whole when things like this happen, and that's the kind of stuff we're trying to avoid. Because Mike said it perfectly. They don't need us. I mean, they've been in business, some of these companies, hundreds of years. They don't need us. So anyway, all right, that's enough.
No, you're right. You're right. So that's it for that. That's our little rant. Again, we're not going to call the site out. I don't feel we need to. They know who they are, and hopefully, it was just an honest mistake, and it won't happen again. We all make mistakes, so that's it. But let's go on to let's see. I think it's my turn. Your turn. I'll read it. All right. We'll go to Maggie's question. Maggie, hey, thanks, Maggie, for sending us a question. Maggie, as a woman cigar smoker, I find lots of women smoking smaller ring gauge cigars. What's your thoughts? Do you think the same? What do you think there, Skip?
Yes, I do. I see it a lot. Now there are some women that go for bigger ring gauge cigars, but a lot of times, and I don't know, maybe I'm being sexist or whatever here, but a woman's hand, like say, yeah, I am. A woman's hand's a little smaller. It might be a lot more comfortable for them to hold a smaller cigar than a big, 60 ring gauge. Um, that's just my thoughts on it. I mean, I see it a lot. Do I see it as a consistent thing? Not so much. I mean, I know women who smoke bigger ring gauge cigars, but more 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 of them, I should say, smoke smaller ring gauge from what I've seen. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's why my doctor's a female. Ha ha ha. Smaller fingers. Get it? Bad joke, anyways. Yeah, no, I see it. I see. There's definitely women out there that I know in the industry that have other bloggers that smoke bigger ring gauge cigars. But I think for the most part, that person's probably right. And I don't think it personally. I don't think they're smoking smaller cigars because they're women. I think they're smoking smaller cigars either because of time or they're trying to get as much of the flavor out of that cigar experience as they can. That's what I think. But yeah, I agree with you, Maggie. I think a lot of women do smoke smaller ring gauge cigars, but there are women out there that do smoke a 60 ring gauge cigar. So hopefully,
I do see even with my wife. My wife started smoking some of the flavored stuff, and she likes to go all, um, not real small, but like in the tins and the like the smaller CO flavors and
yeah.
like the Ruby Blue and that kind of stuff. The flavored smaller. So anyway, all right. Question number 4 is from Rob. What are some of your favorite accessories? There you go, Mike.
Oh, okay. One is this lighter right here. If y'all can see that, my Perdomo lighter. This bad boy right here, man. This thing throws out a torch. And Mikey happens to have the same one. That's one of my favorites. I use a lot of Zycar cutters. Those are always my favorite. The one thing that I have that I keep in my truck that I really like, and I got it at Cup of Joe's a while ago, thanks to Daryl, was Stinky came out with an ash can, a silver ash can with a top that you can close. But when you open the top, it has the the Stinky, the little knob there that Stinky came up with that you can rest your cigar on, and it's nice. So you put your ash in there. If you're done with your cigar, you close it. You don't get the smell throughout your vehicle, and it holds the cigar pretty good. The only thing I don't like about it is where the tension rod is that you put your cigar into. it's a little flimsy, and I think it can cut the cigar. I think they should make that beveled so it doesn't cut the cigar. I think Stinky should think about that, because when you pull your cigar off, those edges are sharp, and you could easily cut the wrapper. We all know how delicate the wrapper is on a cigar. But yeah, those are my probably three of my favorite accessories that I have. What about you, Mike?
There's
What?
or something. Isn't there a song, something about three of my favorite things? I don't know. Anyway.
Well, three of my favorite things wouldn't be those three things, but
first, right there, Zycar V cutter. Was it the VX?
yeah, I believe so.
The metal one. Love it, love it, love it. Absolutely the best cutter, I think, in the world. I use it for everything. Well, as you can see right there from my cigar, if my handle stays still a little bit there, you can kind of see it.
They got the DTs?
Huh?
What do you got, the DTs?
And my neck hurting so damn bad. It's with my right arm. Anyway, yeah, Mike showed you his. Yeah, see, there's my lighter too. Exact same lighter we both have. That V cutter is probably the number one ashtray. Number two that actually Mike sent me, and for my third one, I'm actually a little different than Mike. I love the Bobkin in the car, the cigar Bobkin. I like the Zycar one. I haven't bought one just because, like Mike said, I don't think it's, if you lay your cigar there and you're driving, there's not enough there to really hold it, I don't think. And if you put it in that clip, I'm afraid it's going to cut the cigar. The Bobkin has a nice long end on it, and they're cheap. And actually, Walt gave me that years ago. Gave me one. He had a one, and I keep it in the car all the time. I mean, I absolutely love it in the car. It's a nice long place to lay your cigar on, and it works just perfect. So yeah, I guess. I mean, other than the travel humidor, I don't think you can live without one of them. You smoke a lot of cigars and go. Mike, you probably have a ton of them too.
Yeah, I would say that. I did have the Bobkin, I'll tell you that. I did have that a lot. But like I said, the only reason I switched to that Stinky is I like that you can close it. Once you close it, the smell is gone. Unless you dump the Bobkin as soon as you're done, you're still going to get that smell. But yeah, I agree with you. That
Exactly.
Bobkin, yeah, that Bobkin was awesome. I had one of those too. I agree with you. Yeah, you got to have a cigar, case to take your cigars with you. So yeah, I have way too many of them. So. But yeah, so hopefully that was Rob. Hopefully, Rob, that answered your questions. And now, kind of like Billy, is a segue into Rob's question, I think. Billy says, I smoke in my car. My wife hates the smell. What can I do to get rid or mask the smell? Get rid of your wife. That's probably first. See where that helps you out. No, I'm only kidding. Don't get rid of your wife. It was a joke. I don't want all the women texting me or sending in hate mail. We get enough of it as it is. But I think a segue into it is that perfect for me would be that Stinky ashtray or the Zycar ashtray, where you can physically close the lid and nothing's going to get out. Because let's be honest, we all know when you got an ashtray full of ashes and cigars, it tends to smell musty, stinky, stale. I get it. The other thing that I use in my car, also in my truck, because I don't smoke in the Camaro, I use what's it called? Ozone. I think it's in a white little can. After I smoke, take the ashtray out, I dump it, and I spray my car. Go into the house the next morning. You don't even know I was smoking in there. So maybe those two things would help you. Mike, you got any other ideas that might help them?
Nope, I just tell her to deal with it. I really don't. I mean, I've never really used any of the sprays or anything else. I have heard, I've even actually read on people, like for if you get professional detailing, not just cleaning it. They actually have ozone generators and things for in cars now that, like Mike said, he has a spray of it. There are some, like Febreze, I think, has something out for car and probably would help because Febreze helps with all kinds of stuff in the house. I know. um, but I've never really done it. The biggest problem I've had that actually kind of goes with that with the car is smoking in your car. I don't know if you have this or not, but it leaves a film on the inside of the windows, and it's a pain in the ass to try to clean. That's the biggest problem I have with smoking in the car.
Yeah, well, man, I don't have that because I'm pretty anal, man. I keep my car clean.
Yeah.
I wash it down and wipe it down probably 3 times a month at least.
Oh, I
So
might do that 3 times a year.
yeah, so no, I mean I don't have that, and then actually the other thing is most of my interior of my vehicles are dark, so you probably wouldn't see it, but
All right. Well, hopefully, Billy, hopefully that'll help you out a little bit with some ideas. And maybe Mike, if Mike can find that can, maybe you can put the actual name of it up in the post or something on site so you know exactly what it is.
it's a stinky can. It's called.
No, the spray, the
Oh,
ozone
it's
spray
called
stuff.
it's called ozone. It's white
Oh, it's
with
just
blue.
called ozone.
Yeah, it's ozone. It's in a white bottle, about that round, uh, 4 inches tall, and you can get it at any auto parts store or Walmart's. So,
Yeah, sound like an accident there.
trying to get some sponsorship today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today's show
All
brought to
right.
you by.
All right. Question number 6. Steve wants to know, and I get this question a ton. When I go to my local B&M, I feel overwhelmed when trying to decide on what to smoke. What suggestions can you guys make to help make it easier? Go ahead.
Bring a lot of money and smoke everything. What suggestions? Well, first thing I will tell you this. To me, I'm assuming, and if I'm wrong, Steve, I apologize. I'm assuming you're new to cigar smoking. I would first go right up to who's ever working at the B&M, and I would talk to that person. And don't feel nervous because you know what? You're not the first and you're not the last new smoker to come in there. Believe it or not, they're really helpful people, and that's what they're there for, to help you. But go up to him. He's going to probably ask you a few questions, such as, how long you've been smoking. Do you have a strength you like, a flavor profile you like, stuff like that. And he could take you into the humidor, walk you in there, and take you to a section or sections of stuff that you may like off of what your answers that you tell him. You may not like the first ones or so, you may, and after a while you'll find what you like. But don't feel intimidated. There are so many cigars these days, and it can get overwhelming walking into a humidor. Now that I consider myself a veteran smoker, when I go into a humidor, I don't always tend to look for stuff that I've smoked. I look for stuff that I haven't smoked. I look for stuff that is boutique. That's what I tend to look for now. Anything that's new coming out. But as a new smoker, man, you should be smoking everything. So really don't, start off mild, work your way up into a medium, then up to a full, and get that whole flavor profile of these different complexities and nuances and strengths of cigars. But definitely don't feel intimidated. And honestly, if you go to a B&M, this is what it's really all about. People sitting down who don't know each other, talking and asking questions. Nobody's going to laugh at you. Nobody's going to pick on you. You'll be surprised the answers I think you get. But that's my suggestions. That's what I would do.
I 100% agree. If you actually go to a regular brick and mortar, an actual cigar shop, not like a gas station that sells cigars and stuff like that, but an actual cigar shop, most of them there will have a tobacconist, at least one, and he or she will be able to show you, and kind of point you in the right direction to help you get started. I ask questions. I go to brick and mortars and I always ask questions. I'm like, oh, what's new? What's this about? How's this one? And it never they ask questions. I've had men and women come up to me when I'm in the humidor and just say, could you help me a second? And it's like, yeah, sure. I mean, people in the cigar world it's more of a community. I mean, now don't get me wrong. You have these shops where you'll have like these little cliques, like you're still in high school or something, where they don't want to ever talk to anybody else except for these 3 or 4 people. Yeah, like Mike. Yeah, but but normally you could walk in, and if there's guys or women in the lounge smoking a cigar, you could say, don't want to be a bother, but I was just wondering, I'm just starting out smoking cigars, and I was wondering if you would have any suggestions. And you would be amazed and try everything. Like Mike said, you can't, if you're going to be a cigar smoker where you're going to smoke 1 cigar a month, it's going to be hard for you to pick up on what you really like. So you have to try something. If you don't like it, then try something else until you find one that you do like, and then you'll probably just stick with it. That's mostly what I've seen over the years of casual cigar smokers do. But if you want to get into it, or smoke a day, a couple of weeks, whatever, then you'll have more opportunity to try a lot more things that are out there, and you can find your spot. Like Mike was saying, with mild, medium, full wrappers that you like, flavor profiles, everything else. But don't be overwhelmed. People are to help, and people just smoking in the shop are 90% of the time more than willing to talk to you and help you.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Awesome. All right, let's got a few more here. Let's take one from Sammy. Sammy says, tell me some of the blog site you guys like besides the one you both are on. Go ahead.
All right. I like Tom's cigars. If Tom would get his ass in gear and start posting them. Tom. Tiki Bar, which is now
Leaf Enthusiast, I believe.
Yeah, I always forget that name. I always remember it as Tiki Bar. I just.
It's all right, Dave. I remembered.
And Casas Mondo.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony's site. Stogie Guys. I like Stogie Guys' site. They've been around as long or longer than the site I'm with. Just off the top of my head, those are a couple of them.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with you. Tom's, Casa Famunda, Leaf Enthusiast. I would also throw in there Doc Stogie Fresh.
Yeah, Doc's.
I think Doc's an amazing guy. I would throw that in there. I don't know if the Cigar Nut's around anymore. I haven't been over there in a while, but the Cigar Nut was definitely Dave. He was a cool guy. I enjoyed his reviews. Let's see, who else do I don't go to many sites anymore. I really don't. I mean, every now and then I pop in. I'm just too busy. And
it's hard, especially like you even know when you were reviewing cigars still for you. It's kind of hard to review cigars, smoke cigars that you're trying out to review. And if you go to another site and you're watching these other reviews, everything can get all mixed up and it just drives you crazy after a while.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But there's some good sites, man. I mean, you'll find some others. I'm sure we're missing some that we've been to, and we apologize. We're not trying to not to keep anybody out, but that would probably be those would be a good start right there. Try those guys. I think you'll find some honest opinions there. So, all right, take the next one there, Skip.
All right, Rory wants to know, what's the worst and best cigar to date you have ever smoked? Go ahead, buddy.
Man, it feels like I'm getting all the good ones to start off with. What the shit? Who started this conversation? Oh, man. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, the best would be easy. The best cigars I've smoked definitely is the Illusion Epernay. Limon Size, one of my best. The Headley Grange, one of my best. Jericho Hill, one of my best. Nat Sherman, 1930. EPC Limitada Edition 2013. There's some of my best ones I've ever smoked. Worst, oh crap! I did not like the Payback from Room 101. I did not like, and I do not like, and I will not like the the acid Cuba Cubes. Thanks, Tom, for challenging me on that one. What else did I smoke that I did not enjoy recently? Oh boy, you know what? There really hasn't been a lot, so I'm trying to think really hard to see what I could think of that I didn't really like.
Even from way back.
Man, I'm trying to go way back, dude. 25 years of smoking cigars. I mean, that's a lot of freaking cigars, man.
And it's hard to remember, especially the bad ones. You tend to
Uh,
forget them.
yeah, you do tend to forget them. That's the funny part. I mean, I could go on and on about good cigars, man. Great cigars that I smoke. That's it. That's the only ones I could think of.
Right.
What about you,
Well,
man?
yeah, you think why I go through my list here a little bit. Well, of course, the one I'm smoking right now is one of them. The Jaime Garcia Reserva Especial, the limited edition. I think this is the 2012. Like, God, I can't remember. I think it's two. One year he did all Maduro and one Connecticut. Next year he did all Connecticut, one Maduro in the box. And these are just absolutely amazing cigars. Um, what other all 30 and are both tops of my list from Nat Sherman. There's well, for a cheap budget smoke and one I still get talked about to this day, Casa de Garcia bundle stick. You can get them probably $2 a piece, and people talk about this cigar all the time. Um, some of the stuff is limited. Like I said, like my deathbed. The Tatawai face. J.D. Howard Reserve. I love that cigar. Uh, Illusione. I mean, the 888 is probably my favorite. Probably, and I haven't smoked as many Epernay as you have. I mean, Mike's probably going through, Dion's entire stock of Epernay. But, um, man, yeah, I'm trying to think of.
Devil's Weed. Devil's Weed. I just thought of it.
Luchador. Yeah, don't you worry.
The
That's
worst.
coming up.
The worst ever made.
Is one I really, really like. I think Sam Lucia did an amazing job with that cigar, and I think he just blew it out of the water with that thing. That is amazing stick. Heat, bum bum bum. There it is.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you with the Devil's Weed, I had these when the cigar company was still in business, Molina Cigars. And they were a nice, mild, creamy, buttery Connecticut smoke. They sold it all to I think it was CI. I can't remember what big catalog company they sold it to. I think that's who it was. But I don't care what anybody tries and has changed drastically. This thing is just a dog stick now, from my opinion. And yeah, and it's very rare that I go out and call a cigar that, but when it starts off as a good cigar and then it goes away and becomes something different, that just sucks ass. Especially when you end up buying like a ton of them because you're stupid.
Yeah, and they give them out to all your so-called friends. Bastard.
Gotta love it. Yeah, other than that, some of the cigars I don't like, they're just because they're too strong for me. I don't like power over flavor. If you do a cigar that just wants to knock somebody on their ass, it's just not for me. So anything like that, I would shy away from.
All right. Well,
that's I Payback I didn't care for, like you said. I mean, I just thought it was real plain. I like the smaller ring gauge better than the bigger gauge.
yeah, I didn't care for it at all. But hey, there you go. I'm not trying to be mean, just being honest. But
oh, and I didn't like the heavy range.
That's because you're an idiot and your taste buds suck. But anyways,
But I did like it in
Zero drumstick.
Yeah, the drumstick.
Yeah,
I like the
drumstick.
drumstick.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, you like 4 kicks? I didn't. So, see?
Yeah.
There you go. All right, we got 2 left. Let's go to Dave. Dave says, if you could have any person make a cigar for you, who and why would it be?
Damn.
Damn.
Jose Blanco. And why? Because I think the man is a genius. I mean, over with the different companies he's been with over the years, and now he's doing his own thing. He just has so much knowledge that I would just love to be a silent twin for a couple of years just to soak in all the knowledge. And I think with what he has done, I think I could, he would say, okay, this is what I want to have a cigar taste like. And he could say, okay, blah, 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 blah. And there it is. But anyway, that's my thoughts.
All right, mine is very easy, very simple. It would be EPC. It would be Ernesto. There's no doubt in my mind who it would be, and I'll tell you why. Because in my mind, I remember, besides the Partagas Black, when I first started smoking, I used to smoke the LGC Series R number 6 Maduro like it was crack cocaine. It was my favorite stick. It was the most consistent stick. I smoke more of that cigar than I have any cigar in my life, and I don't smoke it as much now, but that cigar was my favorite cigar. It was always consistent, and I think, and this is just my opinion, I think there's a few other people out there, the Garcias, the Fuentes, the Padrones, Jose Blanco. I would put him in that category as well. But I think Ernesto is one of the most, is a genius when it comes to tobacco. I guess that's the best way for me to put it. When he blends stuff, the stuff that he's come out with, the things that he continues to come out with, the stuff he does for crowned heads. I mean, this guy, he's like the Garcia. Everything he touches is gold. With the Garcias and Tatuaje, and it's just it's just golden. I have so much respect for this man. I've been humbled that he even came on our show, and we got the honor to talk with this man. But if I could have anybody blend me a cigar or work with me on a cigar, that would probably be my dream, to have Ernesto do that for me. And that's why I think he's a great guy. I really do, and I think he's one of, if not the best guys in the industry. So there's my little rant with Ernesto.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Ernesto is amazing. He's a great guy. He's a humble guy. He's easy to talk with. Just like Jose. He was in the mix for me. He was right up there, along with Jaime Garcia. I was thinking with him too, but Jose just took the show for me. I mean, I would love to have a bunch of different people work on cigars for me. I mean, I'm sure Mike would too, but
yeah. If I had the money.
Yeah. All right.
Last one.
Yeah, numero 10. Miguel wants to know, who in your mind has been an industry changer and why?
Oh, Christ's sakes, Miguel. Don't end the show on a bang. Holy shit. Oh, man. I could think of 3 people off the top of my head. All right. I'm gonna start with Pete Johnson. I think when he first started out, and I remember watching this video Pete was in, it looked like a closet where he was storing his cigars when he just started out with the Garcia family, when he just started Tatuaje. And to where he has gone today with the Monster series, with the Saints and Sinners, with these limited editions, with making all these other cigars for people. And I just think his vision of where he wanted to be and what he did with wine and cigars, and taking this crop for this year like he did with a cigar and only limited to this, and then next year doing another series, I think that was a game changer. I think he continues to evolve, and change the game. Another guy who I think has been a game changer in the industry also is oh my God, I'm drawing a blank right now. Do you believe this? Oh, his name's on the tip of my tongue, and I feel like a jerk. Jonathan Drew. Jesus, I'm sorry, Jonathan. I think Jonathan Drew is one of the smartest, hippest, youngest tobacco guys around. I think his knowledge is unbelievable. I think he has a true passion, not only for manufacturing and making cigars, for truly educating people about tobacco. It's not just about the business of making cigars. I think he's an amazing character, I think is probably a good word to put it, and I mean that in nothing but a high compliment of fashion. I think he's a game changer. And the last person, and a lot of people are probably going to think I'm kissing the butt, but that's fine. I think what John Huber and Mike Condor are doing is to go from where they were at CAO, and you guys got a lot of people forget this. I think, anyways, I could be wrong. The other day, I dug out a La Traviata Maduro. I totally haven't had one, and what a cigar that was. Let's be honest, that was an amazing cigar. Amazing cigar. I haven't had one recently. This was old, back when Hubert and CAO was, owned by everybody who was owned by then, not owned who they are owned by now, general. But what they have done and come over and done for the industry in a slow, humble way. I mean, everything these guys make, it's gone. It's gone as soon as they get their shipment in. It's sold out. I mean, that tells you something. That shows you something, that this industry is that strong, that people like John Hubert and Mike Condor and Pete Johnson and Jonathan Drew, and there's more other guys. But those are the three guys, in my opinion, the younger, I don't say younger because they're around my age, I guess, but younger compared to the Garcias, to the Padrones, to the Fuentes, to the Ernesto, to the these guys are definitely changing the game. I think they're going to be around for a long time, and I think they can only come out with better and better and better stuff. And you got other guys in there, Dion, you got Matt Booth, you got all the guys under Emilio, under House of Me. I mean, there's a lot of people. I'm not trying to limit, but I think those three guys, for me, have really changed the cigar industry, and that's my thoughts. And so, what do you think, Bud?
All right. Well, I agree with John Weaver, and I was going to bring up the La Traviata. At the time when it seemed like everybody wanted to raise prices, all of a sudden, they brought this Traviata out at CAO when Ossinger and everybody owned it, and it just blew everybody's mind. I mean, it was just an amazing cigar at an amazing price point, and to this day, excuse me, I think I just swallowed a bug.
It's protein. Don't worry about it.
Whew. Anyway, like you said, Mike, to this day, you can pick one up, and it's just like you rediscover an old blanket that's so soft and comfortable. It's just great. I would throw into that list Ernesto Correa. And the reason I would throw him in is the New Wave. When he brought out that New Wave Connecticut, every Connecticut cigar, everybody was like, it's mild, has a little bit of this, a little bit of that. New Wave came out, and it just changed the dynamic of a Connecticut shade cigar. It's one of my favorites. I love the Toro size. I can't remember what they call it. Is it Divino, or I can't remember which one it is. But I think he really changed the way a lot of people looked at a Connecticut shade cigar, at the time. I would say Gary over at Emilio. And not so much for him bringing cigars out, but for him bringing together a whole bunch of smaller boutique blends, helping getting their product into stores, just being there to get the, this whole House of Amelia thing going and helping the little guy. Where like when you have the Rafi Patels, the Fuentes, the Padrones, the CAOs, and all these big companies, you'll see 30 cigars of theirs on a shelf, and then one from a little startup boutique guy, and it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And I think with Gary bringing all of these people together under a blanket, I think it really helps. And I really think that was innovative for him to do at a time when boutiques were kind of getting lost, where you would pop up and it would go away as quick as it came up because they just couldn't make a go of it. But I mean, that would be three. I mean, I want to put Sam Lucia in there too, and not just with the nub, but if you've never been to an event where Sam was actually doing these artistic cigars, when he rolls them and everything else, it's amazing. And now that he's, well, I guess, I don't know how that, I guess he's not with Tarania since Tarania was bought out. He was bought out, and he's with General now, isn't it?
I think you're right. I think it is General.
Yeah, I think it's General Cigar. So I'm hoping he's going to be able to get back out there and be, the face of the product again, with some more traveling and do things like this. And like I said, I still think the Luchador is an amazing cigar. White and black were okay for me. I wasn't a big fan, but the Luchador, oh my God, that's an amazing stick, and I think he really came out with that. And I like his artistic ability.
All right. Well, there you go. Hopefully, everybody, we answered your questions. That's it. That's what we had. Took us right to the hour, which was good. Sorry for the hiccup in the beginning, but yeah. So that'll be it. This is the last You Ask It show of the year. We have guests for the rest of the year. We're booked up. We love doing the You Ask It shows. I mean, yeah. We still got questions in the hopper. We try to take 10 a time. That usually takes up the show. We still have more. We'll be doing more next year. We have more guests coming on next year. And hopefully you guys will stay tuned with us. We have another show in 2 weeks. I think is it Bodega Cigars, I believe?
Actually, it will be 3 weeks because of the way the weekends fall.
Yes.
It'll be October 11th with Bodega.
Yeah, Bodega, yeah. So we will have Bodega on in 3 weeks. We'll be back. Hope to see you all then. And
hopefully I'll probably be back at a tobacco company, hopefully. And, it'll give me some rest time, which is desperately needed.
Yes, desperately needed. So, all right, everybody. Well, that's it for Mike and Mike, Stogie411. We are done. And check us out at Hogman21 on Twitter, at Nightrid on Twitter, at Stogie411 on Twitter. We are also on Facebook at Stogie411. And that's it. We'll see you all soon. So have a good one.